Hello, freshmen. Today you need to do the following things, and you have the whole week to get this done. There are two sections of the book, I Am Malala, that you need to read. This is the unit that we are doing with the Social Studies Department, interdisciplinary. You need to first read the prologue, answer the questions from the prologue, and take the quiz over the prologue, which is a Google form. And then you need to read chapter 1, which will take you about 25 minutes, and then also answer the questions over chapter 1. There is no quiz yet for chapter 1. All of the quizzes and the questions are in the playlist on the Bogan website, but also I am posting videos. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't let me post videos that are very long, so I'm having to divide all of the audio portions of the book up into 2 or 3 different files. So you will find the prologue into 2 different files, and you will find chapter 1 into 3 different files. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to reach out to Mr. Hopkins, Ms. Payne, or myself. Thank you very much.
Hachette Audio presents I Am Malala, the girl who stood up for education and was shot by the Taliban. Written by Malala Yousafzai with Christina Lam. Read by Archie Punjabi. Prologue read by the author. To all the girls who have faced injustice and been silenced, together we will be heard. Prologue. I am Malala. I come from a country which was created at midnight. When I almost died, it was just after midday. 1 year ago, I left my home for school and never returned. I was shot in the head by a Taliban bullet and was flown out of Pakistan unconscious. Some people say I will never return home, but I believe firmly in my heart that I will. To be torn from the country that you love is not something to wish on anyone. Now, every morning when I open my eyes, I long to see my old room full of my things, my clothes all over the floor, and my school prizes on the shelves. Instead, I'm in a country which is 5 hours behind my beloved homeland, Pakistan, and my home in the Swat Valley. But my country is centuries behind this one. Here, there's every convenience you can imagine. Water running from every tap, hot or cold as you wish. Lights at the flick of a switch. Day and night, no need of oil lamps. Ovens to cook on that don't need anyone to go and fetch gas cylinders from the bazaar. Here, everything is so modern. One can even find food ready cooked in packets. When I stand in front of my window and look out, I see tall buildings, long roads full of vehicles moving in orderly lines, neat green hedges and lawns, and tidy pavements to walk on. I close my eyes and for a moment I'm back in my valley. The high snow-topped mountains, green waving fields and fresh blue rivers. And my heart smiles when it looks at the people of Swat. My mind transports me back to my school. And there I am, reunited with my friends and teachers. I meet my best friend Muniba, and we sit together, talking and joking as if I had never left. Then I remember I am in Birmingham, England. The day when everything changed was Tuesday, the 9th of October, 2012. It wasn't the best of days to start with, as it was the middle of school exams. Though, as a bookish girl, I didn't mind them as much as some of my classmates. That morning we arrived in the narrow mud lane of Haji Baba Road in our usual procession of brightly painted rickshaws, sputtering diesel fumes, each one crammed with 5 or 6 girls. Since the time of the Taliban, our school has had no sign, and the ornamented brass door in a white wall across from the woodcutter's yard gives no hint of what lies beyond. For us girls, that doorway was like a magical entrance to our own special world. As we skipped through, we cast off our headscarves like winds puffing away clouds to make way for the sun, then ran helter-skelter up the steps. At the top of the steps was an open courtyard with doors to all the classrooms. We dumped our backpacks in our rooms, then gathered for morning assembly under the sky. Our backs to the mountains as we stood to attention. One girl commanded, "Asan Bash," or "Stand at ease," and we clicked our heels and responded, "Allah." Then she said, "Hoshar," or "Attention," and we clicked our heels again, "Allah." The school was founded by my father before I was born, and on the wall above us, Khushal School was painted proudly in red and white letters. We went to school 6 mornings a week, and as a 15-year-old in year 9, my classes were spent chanting chemical equations or studying Urdu grammar, writing stories in English with morals like haste makes waste, or drawing diagrams of blood circulation. Most of my classmates wanted to be doctors. It's hard to imagine that anyone would see that as a threat. Yet, outside the door to the school lay not only the noise and craziness of Mingora, the main city of Swat, but also those like the Taliban who think girls should not go to school. That morning had begun like any other, though a little later than usual. It was exam time, so school started at 9 instead of 8, which was good as I don't like getting up and can sleep through the crows of the cocks and the prayer calls of the muezzin. First, my father would try to rouse me. "Time to get up, Janiman," he would say. This means soulmate in Persian. And he always called me that at the start of the day. "A few more minutes, Abba, please," I would beg, then burrow deeper under the quilt. Then my mother, Torpikai, would come. "Pisho," she would call. This means cat, and is her name for me. At this point, I would realize the time and shout, "Bhabhi, I'm late." In our culture, every man is your brother, and every woman your sister. That's how we think of each other. When my father first brought his wife to school, all the teachers referred to her as "my brother's wife" or "Bhabhi." That's how it stayed from then on. We all call her Bhabhi now. I slept in the long room at the front of our house, and the only furniture was a bed and a cabinet, which I had bought with some of the money I had been given as an award for campaigning for peace in our valley and the right for girls to go to school. On some shelves were all the gold-colored plastic cups and trophies I had won for coming first in my class. There were a few times I had not come top, times when I was beaten by my class rival, Malkai Noor. I was determined it would not happen again. The school was not far from my home, and I used to walk. But since the start of last year, I had gone by bus. It was a journey of just 5 minutes along the stinky stream, past the giant billboard for Dr. Humayun's Hair Transplant Institute, where we joked that one of our bald male teachers must have gone when he suddenly started to sprout hair. I liked the bus because I didn't get as sweaty as when I walked, and I could chat with my friends and gossip with Usman Ali, the driver, who we called Bhaijan or brother. He made us all laugh with his crazy stories. I had started taking the bus because my mother was scared of me going to school on my own. We had been getting threats all year. Some were in the newspapers, some were notes or messages passed on by people. My mother was worried about me, but the Taliban had never come for a girl, and I was more concerned that they would target my father, as he was always speaking out against them. His close friend and fellow campaigner, Zahid Khan, had been shot in the face in August on his way to prayers, and I knew everyone was telling my father, "Take care, you will be the next." Our street could not be reached by car, so coming home, I would get off the bus on the road below by the stream and go through a barred iron gate. I thought if anyone attacked me, it would be on those steps. Like my father, I have always been a daydreamer, and sometimes in lessons my mind would drift, and I would imagine that on the way home, a terrorist might jump out and shoot me on those steps. I wondered what I would do. Maybe I would take off my shoes and hit him, but then I would think, if I did that, there would be no difference between me and a terrorist.